say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you to our vocalist, Jesse Law, and Masha Kolesnik for the piano accompaniment. Please be seated, which you already are. I'm Bill Robinson, chair of the UNLV Faculty Senate. We are here today for President Jessup's State of the University address, and we are delighted to have many distinguished guests joining us in the audience. We welcome members of the Foundation Board of Trustees, Gary Ackerman, please. Barry Becker, Michael Bonner, Kirk Clausen, Dallas Hahn, Carolyn Sparks, Don Snyder, Victoria Fertitta, from the Nevada System of Higher Education, representing our Board of Regents, Regent Cedric Creer. And to your left, Regent Sam Lieberman. I would also like to welcome Michael Naft. Thank you all for joining us. UNLV has always been a campus of contradictions. We built a dynamic entrepreneurial spirit and failed to create the necessary infrastructure to make that really come alive. We wrote visionary plans and then often failed to make the tough choices that were required to make those plans come alive. We asked our community to help us and then often failed to respond when they had a need from us. We spent millions on programs to help our students and retain our students, and then we failed to do the same for our faculty and staff that make those students succeed. We've pushed ourselves to new heights and sometimes failed to raise all our brothers and sisters on campus with us when we went. I stand here today for the third time on a campus that for the fourth time has a new president and a new provost who are committed to elevating UNLV into the ranks of the elite. Today, for once, I see light peeking through that door. I see something in front of us Today, I believe, for the first time in decades, that we have a team willing to both seize the opportunities that have presented themselves and deal effectively with the challenges that have always stymied us in the past. I find myself suddenly optimistic in a way I have not been since I had hair. I find myself believing that the faculty are now part of the team, and that this team has in it the will and the ability to finally grasp the brass ring and possibly, just possibly, get all of us together through that door.
At the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, we prepare 30,000 students a year to succeed in all walks of life, from creative activity like the arts, to cutting-edge research and robotics. UNLV has one of the most diverse student populations and academic courses to match. No matter where your path leads, UNLV will get you there, with one of our nationally ranked programs both on and off the field. So get with the beat and join the UNLV team. Thank you. Welcome. Thanks for coming today. And what a day it's been. A very eventful day for UNLV and for the community. We've got a lot going on, in case you hadn't noticed yet. Lots going on at this university, lots of changes. And so I thought that I would start today by talking a little bit about change. My philosophy is that some people dread change in their lives. I happen to thrive on it. I think it's healthy both for individuals and for organizations as they move forward. I look at change as an opportunity. I think it's exciting. It's also scary and sometimes difficult, but I think that change is healthy. This university is going through a pretty significant period of change in its history right now. You think about just what's happened in terms of personnel just over the last year or so. We've got 4 new deans, well, three new deans and a search coming. We've got a brand new provost in Diane Chase. We're about to conclude a search for the new vice president of philanthropy and alumni engagement. And then we've got several other searches that are just getting kicked off this school year, this fall. We'll be searching for a new chief diversity officer. We'll be searching for a new vice president for research, and then for the dean of the College of Sciences and for the dean of nursing as well. So lots of changes happening on the campus from a personnel point of view. And in terms of the business processes, what we do here and how we do it. And so one that I might mention, you might have seen yesterday that we launched a committee to help us figure out how to do an update or a refresh of the university's athletic logo. We're not getting rid of the moniker, a rebel, but about every 10 years, this university in its history has done a refresh or an update on the athletic logo, and it's been about a decade. It's time to do a refresh again, and we've got a good committee of people both on campus and off that are going to kick that process off for us here in the coming days. We've also got, along with that, our first significant kind of rethinking and refreshing of our marketing on campus is also underway. Our first brand awareness campaign in more than a decade will launch in mid-October around the time of the presidential debate. And what a good time to do it with about 4,000 or 5,000 journalists from all around the world here on campus looking for things to write about, as what Vince tells me. With all these changes, again, I think it's healthy. It's good for UNLV as we advance as an institution, and I think it's necessary as we advance as an institution. When I think about advancement, I think about the people we've lost just in the last several months, the last year or so. It's quite a collection of people a great number of UNLV ambassadors who have given so much to this university and so much to this community. And it reminds me of the quotes credited to Isaac Newton, although he wasn't the first one to say it, but he's the one that's thought to have said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants." And I'd like you just to take a moment while we recognize some of these giants on whose shoulders we stand as we advance this institution. So let's please take a moment to reflect and think about these folks. Thank you. If I've seen further, it is by standing upon the shoulders of giants. We're making some incredible advancements at this university, and it wouldn't have been possible if it hadn't been for the decades of work for these and many other people who we've lost, who have given so much for this great institution. As I'm thinking about those decades and all those people who did so much for the university, I just can't believe I'm coming up on my 2-year anniversary. In January, it will be my 2-year anniversary at this university. I gotta tell you, my passion is just as strong as the day I got here. My belief, my confidence in the institution is just as strong, if not stronger, than when I first got here. And my love for this institution is just as strong and as powerful as when I first arrived. And what we wanted to do is share with you a video that shows how many of our colleagues feel about the university. So let me just play for you a video produced by UNLV film major Robert Machado. He graduates in the spring, and he captured nicely the feelings of love, really, in this institution. Let's have a look.
UNLV has a pioneering spirit. It's always been a place where things could happen. It was always a place where you could come in as an artist and no one defined, oh, you have to do it this way. So as an artist, it just gave me kind of perfect free rein to look back at where dance is, but also push the boundaries of where it could go.
I think the beauty of UNLV is that every single day has something to look forward to. Every single day there's something new and something exciting that really brings you back. And it's always small details, it's always small things that you see. Within all those small interactions that you make with people, you really find all of these fun new events, and it's really important to just look into the small things and how they really enrich your life every day.
Something that I really love about UNLV is the professors that we have here, because we really truly have some of the best professors. You know, they're not only teaching us from the book, they're not teaching us concepts, they're teaching us things that we can truly apply to the real world. I'll be able to do limitless things because of the lessons that our various professors have taught us thus far.
One of my favorite things here at UNLV is probably being a part of such a rich and diverse community. The classmates don't feel as though we need to push each other aside or step above one another, but really we're trying to encourage and build one another up so that we are the best that we can be.
The most exciting thing that UNLV is going through right now is, I would say, change. We are a growing institution. We've maxed out housing. You can see it with Welcome Week activities. We are changing, and if you get on board with it, it's really exciting because there's a lot of opportunities here at UNLV for us to really make a difference and make an impact, and I really look forward to that.
What makes UNLV unique is that I think there is a genuine regard and concern and care for the community, be it the local community or Nevada in general. I think a lot of the instructors, professors, researchers use their research to make a difference in the community. It's research that has meaning. It's research that's changing the lives of our community.
You can see development. As you walk around the campus, you can see development. Things are looking up. things are looking up, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I hope I can be here for several more years and see a lot of things develop. I can see these things happening. It's coming to life, and it's just a different attitude, and everybody's wanting to do things to make the university greater. It's a good thing, yeah.
UNLV is different because of our location, so you have to embrace that. UNLV is going to be able to do some unique things because of that in the private and public sector. The numbers are growing, our difference is shown in our diversity. That's something to be proud about, but I think how we cultivate that and how we make sure all those cultures and nations are represented is very important.
I think from my perspective, the big difference is the top tier initiative. A lot of other schools kind of have their set ways, right? They know what's worked in the past, and they're just really trying to maintain. I feel like here at UNLV, we're open to new ideas. We're open to trying new things to try to improve the university.
As a creative artist, when a choreographer comes into a blank space, when a composer looks at the empty staff, when a writer has an empty page, or when a painter has a blank canvas, that's a place of infinite possibility. UNLV, we're in that same place right now. We're looking at our potential. We're moving towards a future. We're redefining ourselves. And I can't imagine a better place I'd want to be.
Fantastic. It's fantastic, I agree. Produced by a student. It's really amazing. When I first came to UNLV, I saw that possibility, that opportunity, if you will. I love the Wayne Gretzky quote that you don't skate to where the puck is, you skate to where the puck is going. And that fit for why I came. I saw the great opportunity that was already happening here at this university. I saw where this university was going, and I wanted to come and be a part of that. And I think even more important, I saw through the interviewing that everybody in this community, from on campus and off, all the way through the faculty and the staff, out into the community, the business community, the legislature, the governor, a collective aspiration, if you will, for this university. And it was unanimous, and I did my due diligence. Everybody wanted this university to move forward and to advance to the next level. And that, to me, was the best part of the opportunity, that I knew it was going to happen because of the support that I could see. And then it was also a great fit. So for me, I'm lucky to be here, and I feel just as passionate as the people that you saw in the video. As I walk around this campus, I discover new things all the time. Now well over a year and a half in, but I'm always discovering things happening here that just, quite frankly, blow me away. This university, this setting that we're in is quite unique, and it's quite special. And the bulk of my remarks today are going to be about that. I want you to, at the end of this presentation, feel like I do about how special and unique this institution in this place is, and this opportunity that we have with it. So I'm going to give you the cheat sheet for the quiz. 3 things. We are different. We are daring, and that is certainly a daring move. And we are diverse. So let's begin with this. We are different. Why do I believe that? First, let's start with this place, this city, the entertainment capital of the world, the emerald in the desert, and all the other ways that people have described Las Vegas. This literally began as an oasis in the desert, as someone putting a rail line through and trying to find a place to have a little watering hole, discovering a spring to do it. And out of that has emerged this beautiful and wonderful and unique city that we have. There are few cities in the world like this one. There are a couple that are kind of like this in terms of the economy. In those cities, Macau comes to mind, and perhaps where Diane came from in Orlando, but not in a desert community like this, and in a place in the country that's growing so rapidly. I really think this is a unique place within which this university is situated. And similarly, this institution is unique. This is a large urban public institution that serves a heavy population of first-generation students. And there just aren't many institutions with a mission like that, and certainly none that I've experienced that embrace that mission like this institution does. We've got a unique mission. We're a very special university in a very, very special place. And I'm embarrassed to click this slide, but as I think back on my time, wow. I don't know what's more embarrassing about that photo, how I look or how proud I was of that K-Pro computer and that dot matrix printer that I bought with my own money. And that was for the computer aficionados. That was billed as a portable computer. It's about the size, bigger than a modern CPU, and it had a handle on it. You could carry it. But that mission, if you will, for this institution resonates with me right down to my core. I think many of you know that I come from a background of Italian immigrants on both sides of my family, both my mom and my dad's side. My dad was a fireman in San Francisco Fire Department. No one had gone to college in my family. I was the first one to go to a university and to graduate from the university, so I was a first-generation college student. And there wasn't a lot of conversation about going to college in my family. No one had been there. No one knew what that was. In fact, my dad had counseled me for many, many years, up until about my master's degree, that I ought to think about getting a good civil service job. That's what I ought to shoot for. And I think the fact that I was lucky, I just happened to be born in California and grow up in California at a time when higher education was so heavily supported by the state. And I began at a junior college and it was practically free. I am lucky and I'm grateful for the way that higher ed as a system had been set up in this country, and especially at a time when it was so heavily subsidized. It's a story not unlike those of our students. This is Teresa Butler. Now think about this story. Teresa was homeless throughout high school. Her mother facing drug addiction. So to say that she faced challenges is an understatement. She came to UNLV to find a career, and I would say much more. She is part of the inaugural class here at UNLV in what we call the Hope Scholars Program that's designed for students just like her, and we have about a half dozen students that are beginning in it. She now lives on this campus, and this is the best part. She hopes to earn a medical degree and to open a clinic. And Teresa, I hope you do it in our medical school, Barbara, right here, and you open that clinic right here in the Las Vegas Valley. But that's, I think, a testament of the impact of this institution. That is the mission of this institution in one picture. And then let me just come back out at the 30,000-foot level and try to set the scene. If you look in the federal database of all the colleges, and there are like 9,000 entities that call themselves a college or university or a technical school or a trade school, and some are online and some are in brick and mortar. And if you cut that down to the kind of the actual colleges and universities, there are about 4,000 in this country. And then you cut that down to the research institutions, the research universities like UNLV, and there's about 200. You can argue about that depending on what your definition is, but there are about 200 that are research institutions in this country. Only a subset of those are public, some private, some public. And then there's only a subset of those that are in big urban areas like we are. And then if you look at the big public urban research universities that are large, you're down to a handful of institutions. And that's why I say that we really are unique. And I would argue in many ways there are no other institutions like ours, at least not in the way that we live the mission that we do. And we're also young by higher education standards. We're about to celebrate in the coming year our 60th anniversary. That also is quite unique. We're what many in the country think of as an emerging institution that, again, embraces its mission and provides students with real-life opportunities, and more to the point, provides students who need those opportunities desperately. We provide them with those great opportunities. And one other quick example. This is Ernesto Zamora Ramos. He's a graduate student here at UNLV and did the undergrad program here. Thinking about graduate school, I'm looking at Rama because he's in his college. He was accepted at UC Berkeley, and at University of Southern California. So he got accepted to Cal and Southern Cal to go do his graduate work. And he chose to come to UNLV. He's doing his PhD here now in the Howard R. Hughes College of Engineering, and I think Rami is doing work on solar energy, so he's chosen a great topic, a great thing to work on. That is the mission. He is the mission. That's why we do this. It's exactly why we're doing this. This is a special university. This is a unique university. This is a university to be celebrated. This is a university to be proud of. We are different. We are UNLV. And we're also daring. I think if you just take a look at all the initiatives going on this campus simultaneously, it's impressive. Some would say daunting. This was a good example this day because we had staff running between the Stan Fulton building and the Tourism Infrastructure Committee and this building, trying to do two things at once throughout this day and helping to set up for the two events. And that's a metaphor for all that's going on this campus right now. We have a lot going on. I have to say, in my now near 30 years in higher education, it's hard to believe when you saw that picture of me that looks like it was a long, long time ago, but I haven't been in this business just about that long. And it's unique to see the collective energy that you see on this campus right now and how aggressively people are going after the top-tier strategic plan and implementing it daily. Let me just touch on a few of the things that have either just been accomplished or that we're in the middle of. The medical school I mentioned, this happens to be a picture with Mike Wixom in the center. We're signing the agreement with the county for the 9 acres downtown by University Medical Center. That will be the home of the medical school. We got through a really nerve-wracking accreditation visit with the LCME, the Liaison Committee for Medical Education. I mean, you really prep for those accreditation visits. They are difficult. And credit to Barbara and her team, we came through with a really good report and kind of a wink, thumbs up, and we won't know the final vote until the week of the debate, but it's looking good. And they've built a massive curriculum. They're working on some other fundraising efforts. They're working on the location and what the home, the building will look like on that property. There's a lot going on just around the medical school. If you go across campus just a little bit, you'll see the Hotel College building coming up out of the ground, and that will be done in just about a year, just about this time a year from now. That one it's two things. One is it's just an incredible example of a public-private partnership. That concept, the public-private partnership, is sweeping the United States and all of higher ed because as state universities are needing to grow and not having the money to do that, they're looking for partnerships. This is a great example where the state and the resort corridor split the cost on building that building. And the other thing I like about it is we're going to now put a world-class program in a world-class building, and it's fitting that we do that. They need it. The addition of the Thomas and Mack is just about done, and this is, Jerry, I think a $72.5 million renovation. I think the renovation's pretty much done, and you're wrapping up now the addition, the West addition. And this is a picture of that many months ago. We toured it just 2 days ago with Jerry, and in fact, that West addition's pretty much done. We're pretty close to being done. We expect it to be operational by the time of the presidential debate in just 30, what's our countdown? 34 days, Juanita? 34? And I know Juanita is counting the days. That West Addition, beautiful. Imagine taking close to the ballroom of the student union and lifting that up and dropping it down on top of the tunnel of the Thomas and Mack. That's about the size of that new meeting space, and it's beautiful. I predict that UNLV alum are going to want to get married in that room, and Mike Newcomb will take orders when we're done. And I'm so happy that Vicky's here today. Vicky, I got to thank you and your family for making this possible for us. This new training facility for the football program will be transformational for that program, and I want to thank the Fertitta family for this very generous $10 million commitment to that facility. Thank you so much. Thank you. And to go with it, maybe a stadium. We had a good day today. The Southern Nevada Tourism Infrastructure Committee had its final meeting today. We've been working for 14 months and voted today to pass on to the governor a package of funding based on the room tax for both the convention center renovation and expansion and for the stadium project. And some money to enhance infrastructure around those and to add the necessary growth in the police force so that they can help to do the things that they need to do, not only around those facilities, but here in this community. This is just a crazy week. I mean, it's rare that a university would have wins like this, both in the same week. And they go well beyond athletics. The point I want to make here, and I know Vince is going to get nervous as I tell stories, but I will make one quick point. Over the summer, we learned a lot in our conversations with the Big 12, and we talked with people at high levels of leadership in the Pac-12 and other Power 5 conferences, and including high-level leadership at the NCAA, and including some noted experts from around the country who operate as consultants in this space. And the message from all of them was loud and clear. What we heard was, you are on a path academically to get to a Power 5 conference. It's with your medical school and everything else that you're doing, you are on the path academically. You are in a media market that is attractive to the Power 5 conferences. And what you are missing, the missing ingredients were in athletics, and it was specific to football. And it was specific to a practice facility for your football program and a good modern stadium nearby the campus to play in. And boy, I'll tell you, we made a lot of headway this week in adding those two fundamental building blocks to advancing this institution to the next level. It was a great week for UNLV. The University District is the apartment complex just to the north of campus, just actually a stone's throw from where we are now. We're maxed out, as you saw in the video, in our dorms. The capacity is 1,800. I think we have 1,900 students in the dorms. I don't know how we're doing that. I think there may be rooms where we're triple bunked. Sorry. Okay, all right, sorry. Moving on. In the apartments, we'll be adding, when we're done, close to 3,000 new beds or units for students. And beginning next fall in 2017, that there'll be about 750 beds available for students. And I understand that while we're building the new ones, we also renovated some of the older space, and then we were able to fit another 60 into the renovated apartments there, and maybe that's where some of them went in covering. As I mentioned, we got the presidential debate coming, and in 34 days away, we've got a countdown clicker on campus, and there's, as you might expect, a lot of work going in getting ready for the presidential debate. The neatest thing about it is, I mean, of course, it's going to be great publicity. They're expecting well more than the 3,000 journalists that have showed up for prior presidential debates because of all the interest in the race. They said it could go as much as double the number of journalists from all around the world. They think it will break the record for viewership for presidential debates, about 70 million for prior debates, expected to go north of that. They're expecting about 50 million, 60 million in publicity to the university and to the host city. We've had a local ad agency has been kind of doing that count for us on the publicity so far. They've estimated that to date already, well, through the end of the summer, $42 million already in publicity for the university and for the city, and we haven't even gotten to the debate yet. But I think the most important benefit is what it does for the students. We've got, I hear the count's up to about 1,000 students now that will be interning at the debate, and we'll link them up with the news agencies, and so they'll be able to actually be hands-on at the debate doing that. And then about a dozen classes that are either new on campus or have been newly designed that are being offered right now to take advantage of the debate, classes in political science and history and journalism. And then finally, I just want to thank the LVCVA. They continue to be the great partner in this. We could not have gotten the bid without them, and we couldn't have pulled off this debate without them. They are the financial partner and a great partner in many, many other ways. The fundraising has been going really well, and so we've been laying the groundwork for a capital campaign for this university. That takes a lot of time and planning and effort as well, and you'll be hearing more about a comprehensive capital campaign coming for UNLV. That is in the works as well. The top-tier plan is, well, we're about a year into what is a decade-long plan. I've summarized some of the accomplishments so far, but there are many in research, in teaching, and the allied health sciences and the medical school, in our community partnerships, getting better at that, and then in the infrastructure on campus, and in shared governance and the other processes at the campus, and trying to make those better. But that initiative is well underway and involves all of the campus and much of the community as well. I love this picture. Some people have asked me, wow, that's a lot of stuff for people on this campus and in this community to be working on together. And it is a lot of stuff, but that's what the great universities do. I've had the good fortune of working at some great institutions, and in the years that I spent at Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana, stand out because of the work ethic on that campus. I'd never been on a university campus where people work that hard before then, or really afterward, until I got to UNLV. And I'll tell you, the work ethic at this university is incredible. People are working so hard. And the community is right there with us and backing us. And quite frankly, that hard work and can-do attitude and the risk-taking that goes along with it, I think is indicative of the spirit, of the DNA of this community. Think about the history of Las Vegas. And Vegas didn't get to where it is by following a traditional path or by being timid. And you can take the safe approach, or you can go for it. And you can be bold and you can act decisively. And that's what we're doing with this university. And I think it's fitting and it's necessary. Sometimes you got to take chances, like me showing you this picture on this next slide. And Vince and I have had a lot of chuckles about this one. This was actually my first year at the junior college of the Siskiyous, playing baseball. My eyebrows at that point were thicker than my mustache, and I had one. I was definitely sporting the unibrow at that point, and it wasn't fashionable. But I wanted to show this to just tell a quick story about risk-taking. I learned a lot from athletics. There were a lot of life lessons there for me as I developed as a young adult. And the one I wanted to share with you was that some days on this team I started, and some days in center field, and some days I didn't. And in the games when I didn't, because I was one of the faster runners on the team, I would frequently go into the game in late innings. I'd be put in usually to steal a base and to try to make something happen. One afternoon, we were in a close game. We were in the final innings of the game. We were down by 1 run. They had a pitcher who was just shutting us down. Everything he threw was just right on the mark, and he was shutting our players down. We couldn't do anything on offense, and we were stuck. And it looked like this game was going to end soon, and it was going to be a loss. And it really felt that way, and you could see it in the dugout. And the coach was on third base. He was the third base coach. And we were in the final innings, we're up, and then I get the signal comes over, and he'd like me to go in and replace the person who'd finally just gotten on base, and to replace that person as a base runner. And so, you've got like 10 seconds to warm up, and so I'm coming out and warming up as I'm walking from the dugout right to first base, thinking, okay, I'm going to be running, so I got to get ready quickly. He goes back to third base, starts giving me the signs, and I'm confused about the signs. I'm not sure what he's telling me to do. I think he's just as nervous as I am. And I thought, I've got to make something happen. I mean, it doesn't really matter what he's telling me. I've got to make something happen in this game or we're going to lose. So I thought, what have I got to lose? We're going to lose this game anyway. So I stole second base safely. Then that got the pitcher so rattled that he threw just a little bit of a pass ball that just got a few feet away from the catcher, and I just took off out of instinct, and I stole third base. And then he was so rattled, he threw one completely over the catcher's head, and then I stole home. And I scored the run that tied up that game. I literally manufactured out of nothing offense for the team and scored a run. And when I came back into the dugout, the coach came back in the dugout, and he kind of pulled me off of the end of the dugout, and he kind of smiling at me and shaking his head and said, "That's not what I wanted you to do, but I'm glad you did it." And the pitcher, who was also a friend of mine, thanked me, was happy that I'd done it. But lots of lessons like that for me from sports, where sometimes when the situation seems daunting and it seems like there is no option, there's always an option. There's always a way to find a way. I love this picture as well. That exuberance, that captures the spirit, I think, of this institution. Talk about not following the status quo. I think of us as smashing the status quo. And it's that kind of attitude, I think, that will catapult us among the great higher ed institutions around the country. You know, it means that we've got to continue to work hard. We've got to be okay with change. We're going to have to continue to work together. We're going to have to continue to take calculated risks to achieve our goals. And I'm reminded of the JFK quote, we don't do these things because they're easy. We do them because they're hard. That's why we do these things. They must be done. They're difficult, but we must do them in order to advance the institution. We are daring. We are UNLV. And then finally, our diversity. Our students and our faculty and our staff are the faces of UNLV, the faces of this institution. They are what make us successful, and to my point earlier, they make us a successful modern American university. And we take pride in the diversity of this campus. I think, of course, you all know that U.S. News has ranked us as the second most diverse campus in the country, and we're proud of that. But here's what I want you to think about. And I think this is interesting. You think about this city and about this university. This city is a reflection of the future of this country. And this university is a reflection of what a modern, engaged American university ought to be. Think about that. The demographics of this city is way ahead of the United States. This city in its diversity represents where the United States is going, where it is going to be in a number of years. And I really firmly believe that this university is that as well. The demographics and the mission and the spirit of this university is a reflection of where American higher ed is going. We're already there at UNLV. I think we're well ahead of our time. Diversity is a strength. It's what makes us stronger. It's important, though, that we continue to listen to each other and respect each other's values and respect each other's beliefs, approaches. We might not always agree, but we've got to continue to understand each other and to appreciate diversity and to believe that diversity is a strength. I really believe the statements that you heard in the video, that the potential for this university is unlimited, especially if we embrace the diversity in this university and in this city. And that we accept that all of us walk from different paths and all of us face challenges and have faced challenges in our lives. That's the last of my embarrassing photos. I was a fundraiser at a young age in my life. Here I am dialing for dollars. Clearly to buy a new shirt and a real phone. All I wanted to say, this picture, boy, it takes me back, and just to make the point that I don't pretend to walk in the shoes of our students today, but we all have faced our own challenges in our lives. Many people believe that I went to junior college to play baseball back in California, and that's partially true. The other part of the story that I don't typically tell is that I needed to go to a junior college first. Even though I did well, I had good grades in high school. But for me, I had enough doubt about myself and about going to a university because, again, no one in my family had ever gone. I had a lot of doubt about whether or not I could be successful at a university. I had a lot of friends from high school that went on to university, and I just thought, I can't do it. I just don't think I'm ready. I needed to go to that junior college first, not only to play baseball, but just to prove to myself that I could actually go to a college and do well. And I went, and I did well in my classes, and I built confidence. And then, when I felt I was ready, then I went on to university. Somebody asked me if I'd ever envisioned that I would be a university president one day, especially at a university like UNLV. And let me tell you, I would never have guessed it back at that age. But certainly, even at my time in junior college, and I would say well on through my undergraduate years and into grad school and way, way, way into my career, I never thought of the possibility of being in this job. I had a lot of insecurity and doubt that I had to overcome. I had a lot of personal growth that I had to do just to get to the point that I could even move on from a junior college to a four-year university, like many of our students. Much like my own transformation and growth, personal transformation and growth, I think UNLV is going through a similar transition right now. As I mentioned, we turn 60 years old as an institution next year. We're maturing and we're evolving. We've liked to use this phrase here the last few weeks that we feel like the university is going through a renaissance. And the definition of that is a rebirth. It's a period of great activity and growth and expansion and learning and excitement. And we really think the campus is going through that kind of a period right now. What's neat about that is no one here is ever losing a sense of who we are. I don't think we ever will. And I'm heartened to see that people continue to appreciate that each of us has different backgrounds. We have different perspectives on things. We all have our own challenges that we've worked through and that we're working through, and that's okay. We are diverse. We are UNLV. And then for the final segment of the talk, I just want to talk a little bit about where we're going. And in the consulting work that I used to do, I don't have time to do it anymore, but I would love to go into organizations and help them do strategic planning. And one of the most popular things that for me anyway, the most fun things would be to do a visioning exercise where I'd ask them to go forward 10 years and think about what they wanted their organization to look like and to imagine complete success a decade out from where they were at that point we were doing the session. And so I want you to go along with me. It's year 2016, so go ahead 10 years. It's the year 2026. And I want you to think about what UNLV looks like in the year 2026 in a state of complete success and full implementation of the top-tier strategic plan. Here's what it looks like for me. In 10 years, we are a school of choice, not only for the city, but for the broader region. We'll be about 40,000 students, I think easily, out a decade out. We're approaching 30,000 now. We just had a record-breaking cohort come in, grew by about 3%, maybe a little bit more. I predict that we will grow by 2 or 3% each year out of the next decade. We'll be about a 40,000 student university. Our 6-year graduation rate is going to go up appreciably. We know it will because our retention rate is going up. We just went up 2 percentage points, which Diane, is a huge jump for an institution. I think you would agree, our new provost. A 2% jump year over year is huge, and that's a leading indicator of graduation rate down the road. We'll have many more freshmen coming in and earning their degrees in under 6 years, which is the measurement that universities use now. And we'll have more students doing great things like the example is Hannah Kelly. She's a junior education major who received the very prestigious Truman Scholarship. Or the UNLV team that was just chosen here to compete in the 2017 U.S. Department of Energy Solar Decathlon. Or the Rebel Girls who won the national championship in the hip-hop category. Get ready. You're going to see a lot more of that kind of accomplishment from our students. And same thing from the faculty. And you'll see, I think in 10 years, and we will get there, and Diane has got a team that's working on this, we will match the diversity of our students, almost 60%, with the diversity of our faculty. We will do that. We must, and we will. And get ready, you're going to see a lot more great things from our faculty as well over the next decade. Some examples, one of our faculty, Jason Steffen, is an astrophysicist, and his team discovered planetary systems that have at least one habitable planet like Earth among the billions of possibilities that are out there. We've got a research team in the Allied Health Sciences that's tested the thick soles that are popular now on running shoes and to see if those have any positive effects on running and on injury and on a number of other things, and they're finding that it actually does make a difference. Life Sciences professor Brian Hedlund has announced the discovery of Kryptonia, which I initially thought was the name for a pop band, but it's not. It's actually a bacteria that lives exclusively in the hot springs that they've discovered around the region, and that's important. Or a computer science professor, Andreas Stefik, who is honored as a White House champion of change for software and related technology that he's developed that enables people who are visually impaired or blind to use a personal computer. Get ready, you're going to see a lot more path-breaking and impactful work like that from our faculty. And that research that the faculty do, we don't just do it for research sake. I mean, it's going to be great that we're going to do a lot more of that. We did about $49 million this year in grant-funded research expenditures. We expect in 10 years that's going to rise to about $120 million a year. That will put us in the Carnegie Research 1 or Tier 1 category just by definition. But we're not doing it just for the sake of being a Carnegie Tier 1 institution. We're doing that because that research then becomes the engine for the spin-out activity that comes out of a research university operating at that level of magnitude. And we expect also that, and we've had some great advances already in the last couple of years in tech transfer and spin-out, but we expect that at the end of a decade, this university will have spinning out of it anywhere between 8 to 10 spin-out companies per year, and then 1 or 2 of those will stick and stay here in the local economy and will thrive and grow and become a company like Switch or like Zappos in tech or in biotech. In 10 years, the total economic output from this university will be $4.5 billion, 2.5 times where it is now. And again, the spin-out activity in tech and biotech will create economic opportunities well beyond that. UNLV will have even greater impact socially. You can see some of the seeds of that now. Partnerships with our College of Education and the Clark County School District. Our College of Education is going to be running the Paradise Elementary School, and that'll be treated as a campus that'll have best practices developed by UNLV that will then spin out and roll out across the rest of the district. Similarly, the School of Architecture's downtown design project is an effort that right now that's redeveloping the Las Vegas historic West Side. We've just launched a new Office of Community Engagement in order to help us to do more of these partnerships. Get ready. You're going to see a lot more of that kind of partnership and that kind of impact both economically and socially. I already mentioned the medical school. 10 years, that's it build out. We'll have successive generations of cohorts that have come in and graduated. We'll be supplying many more doctors into the community. And the medical school alone, in combination with the rest of the health sciences, will also have a multi-billion-dollar impact on this community all by itself. And then finally, we will be a university that will be in one of the Power 5 conferences. It is inevitable. We are on that path, and I believe within a decade we will be there, and that will have its own economic impact. And as Jerry and Tina and I often say, that the payouts are a lot better in the Pac-12 and the Big 12, about 10 times more than what they are in the league that we're in now. We've got a long way to go, and we need to compete first well in the league that we're in, but I predict we'll be eligible for a Power 5 conference within the decade. So as you look ahead, this great university is going to get even better. I mean, it really will be a truly highly impactful, highly engaged university. In closing, let me just say that we can do that. We are on that path. It is inevitable. That is where we are going. But it's going to take a lot of continued hard work from folks. We're going to need to all continue, all of us in the room. I can see students and faculty and staff and community members and folks on our foundation board, and we've got regents and representing our electeds. We're all going to have to continue to work together to achieve that vision. We're going to have to continue to work hard. It isn't just going to fall into our laps. We've got to continue to be open to change and celebrate diversity, continue to be passionate about this university and the impact that it has. We've all got to remain committed to the cause in order to get there. And I know it's going to happen. A quick anecdote that helps me to be so confident about where we're going. When I first got here, we were in the middle of the legislative session. We were fighting hard for a bunch of funding initiatives for the Hotel College and some money for the Boyd School of Law, and then the money for the medical school as well. And Barbara had the idea that it would be great leverage for the money from the state, which was for operations, if we could come up with money for scholarships. And the idea kept expanding, and she said, boy, great if we could have 60 scholarships for all 60 of that incoming cohort for their entire 4 years. It'd be great if we could get commitments for full ride scholarships for all 60 of those students for 4 years. And you all know the story. In 60 days, not only were those 60 scholarships pledged, but a bunch of scholarships for the second cohort and the third cohort and the fourth cohort. And it was about a total of about $13 or $14 million raised for commitments from the community. I was in awe of how the community pulled together because of their belief in the need for the medical school and the belief that UNLV could do it. I've never seen a community pull together like that in my 30 years of fundraising in higher ed. I've never seen anything like that. That makes me feel confident that we're going to get to the destination that we've got in mind. This community clearly believes in this university. I mentioned the gracious gift from the Fertittas and the impact that that's going to have on athletics and on the entire university. And collectively, this community did a lot for us in this fiscal year that just ended. You might recall that in the prior year, the community invested about $75 million in new gifts and new pledges into the university. And that we hadn't seen that high watermark except for 1 year during the prior campaign. It was sort of up to a peak year and then back down again. And then we went a long time before having a year like that. Well, in this fiscal year that just ended, we had another $75 million year. $75 million. Yes. So that's $150 million over the last 2 years. We haven't done that in a long, long time, and we are beginning to now eclipse the records from the prior campaign. This community believes in this university. Don't have any doubt about that. And we do too, those of us that work here, our students and our faculty and our staff. And in a moment, I'm going to cue up a video that will show you how our students believe in the future of this university. And so you'll be led in the video by Ariel Halstead and Trey Norman, both from the Honors College, and they're going to be talking about the Honors College and their confidence and their belief in their future and in the future of this institution. It's not an easy path that we're on, but we can succeed. I think if we embrace the potential, we continue to work hard together to get it done. And now I'm going to end by making the ask. I need you all of you in this audience, both from on campus and off, I need you to continue to believe in this university and its potential. And I need all of you to continue to invest in this university. And that doesn't necessarily mean money, but I need you all to continue to invest your time, your effort, your energy, your talents, your experiences, your treasures, if you can. We're worth it. I need you all to continue to believe and to continue to invest in this great university, and I guarantee you that we are worth it. The investment will be worth it. In summary, let me just say, this is now the quiz. The things I want you to remember about how special this place are, this great university we call UNLV. We are different. We are daring. We are diverse. We are UNLV. Thank you for your continued support in this great university. Thank you for your support of me. Go Rebels.
I always felt different growing up. But here, I know it's okay to be different. Everyone is.
I belong in this community of difference, and that changes everything.
This atmosphere, our sphere, inspires me to be the best version of myself. So I cannot remain the same.
We have synergy. We are creating an energy that is greater than it could ever be if we journeyed alone. So instead, we aim high as we go together, push ourselves to reach our potential and grow each other.
And we do that through the heart, the body, the soul, the mind. There is music to compose, ideas to expose,
and adventures to share with fellow travelers on the road.
There are breakthroughs to discover, mysteries of human nature to uncover, countries to govern. We've been given a piece of the world to shape. But the world won't wait, and it needs your best. This is more than how you perform on a test. Are you in?
This moment is ours. This is our time.
This is our Honors College.